The message came at 2:14 a.m. Forget me. Nothing else. No goodbye, no reason. Just 2 words that clawed at the back of my skull. I was 3 hours from home, parked under a flickering gas station light, her last text glowing in the dark like a wound. The night air pressed close, too still, too expectant. Would you go back if someone told you to forget them? Would you dare unlock the door they once guarded? I started driving anyway. The mirror caught the shimmer of headlights behind me. Her car. But as I blinked, the shape thinned, stretched, and vanished into the fog. My hands shook against the wheel. Was she following, or was I remembering her wrong? The hum of the tires deepened into a low, static whisper. Something unseen moved beside the road, and in the glass I thought I saw her eyes one last time, waiting for me to remember what I shouldn't. When I reached the house, every light burned bright, yet nothing felt alive. Curtains swayed, though no air moved. The scent of rain lingered with something sweet. Her perfume. I whispered her name, but the echo that came back didn't sound like my voice. The living room clock froze at 2:14. My reflection in the dark TV screen blinked too late. Would you still walk inside if you knew the walls could remember more than you could? Her suitcase waited by the couch, untouched. A leather journal beside it, her handwriting sharp, frantic. Don't let the mirrors breathe. Upstairs, a door creaked. The air turned heavy, colder. In the hallway mirror, a shadow leaned close, but it wasn't mine. The bedroom door hung ajar. Her phone glowed on the nightstand, cracked screen blinking with a single voice memo. I hit play. Oh, see me. Don't speak. My breath froze. Behind me, the mirror rippled, as though something beneath the surface had exhaled. I faced the mirror. The reflection didn't move. Its lips curled slowly, her smile wearing my face. A low hum filled the room, rattling the window glass. The reflection raised its hand. Mine stayed still. My phone buzzed once more on the floor. Forget me, it read. Then the screen went dark. Morning never truly came. The fog lingered thick and metallic, as if the world had forgotten how to breathe. I found myself pacing the living room, the same clock still stuck at 2:14. Every mirror in the house seemed slightly turned, facing where I wasn't. I caught my reflection once, only once, and it smiled too late again. On the kitchen table, her keys lay next to a note I didn't remember seeing before. If you read this, you're already remembering wrong. My hands trembled as I touched the paper. Was Mara still here? Or was I walking through her last thought? The hallway mirrors waited like open mouths. I turned one to face the wall, but when I looked back, it had shifted again. The air crackled faintly, like a record spinning without sound. I whispered her name, though my throat resisted the shape of it. The light bulbs dimmed, flickered, and flared to life, revealing faint handprints across the glass, mine or hers. I couldn't tell. Something inside the mirror exhaled, fogging the surface from within. I searched her suitcase, desperate for clues, receipts, notes, something that would tell me who she really was. Inside, wrapped in a black scarf, I found an old photograph. 2 figures stood in front of the same house, same door, same fog. The woman wasn't Mara, but she wore her face. The ink on the back read, "She'll come home when remembered." My pulse stuttered. Every sound in the house seemed to wait for me to speak her name. Nor war. She soon moved to wait for me. That night, the whispers began in the vents. Low, broken sounds that almost formed words. I followed them to the mirror at the top of the stairs. Its surface pulsed, faintly breathing. For a heartbeat, I saw her. Eyes wide, hand pressed against the glass. She mouthed something I couldn't hear, but I knew what it was. Forget me. The moment stretched. Then her hand melted into the reflection, leaving behind a trail of frost that crept toward my fingertips. I smashed the mirror. The sound didn't stop. It echoed long after the shards hit the floor. Each fragment still reflected her, hundreds of her faces, each whispering something different. One said my name, one laughed, one cried. I stepped back, glass cutting into my heel, and realized the largest piece still showed her car idling outside. But when I looked out the window, the driveway was empty. Only the fog moved, curling like breath from a mouth I couldn't see. The house had changed overnight. Every mirror I broke had returned, flawless, hung exactly where it used to be. My reflection followed half a step behind, delayed but watching me closely, as if waiting for permission to move. I whispered her name. Mara. The reflection smiled. My voice sounded wrong, like it came from the glass instead of my throat. The air felt electric. Somewhere deep in the walls, a door creaked open, and I heard a faint hum. Not words, but the shape of breathing. I wasn't alone anymore. I followed the hum to the basement. The air was thick, damp, and old, like the smell of forgotten rain. On the concrete wall, I saw something scratched in with fingernails. The house remembers who looks too long. My chest tightened. At the far end of the room, a covered mirror leaned against the wall. The fabric trembled, though there was no wind. I pulled it away. The glass was black. No reflection. Only depth, endless and patient. I dreamed of her again. Or maybe I woke inside her dream. The house was flooded with gray light, mirrors melting like water. She stood at the center of it all, barefoot, eyes pale with exhaustion. "You're remembering wrong," she said, voice echoing in every room. I tried to reach her, but the floor rippled, pulling us apart. I saw flashes, her cleaning, humming, turning to look at something behind her, a shadow where I should have been. Then the sound of glass breaking. Then nothing. I woke to the sound of running water. The bathroom light flickered under the door. I opened it slowly. Steam poured out, thick as fog. Inside, the mirror was fogged over except for one clear space. Her handprint. Perfect. Fresh. I touched the glass, and warmth pulsed beneath my fingers like a heartbeat. Then, faintly, her voice. "You shouldn't have looked back." The mirror blinked. Yes, blinked. And my own eyes didn't follow. Night fell again. I tried to leave, but every door opened to another room of the same house. Each mirror showed a different version. Me, older, bruised, terrified. One of them spoke. "You stayed too long." I stumbled backward, breath shaking, until I saw her car outside once more. Headlights on, engine running. I ran to the window, but the reflection showed something else. She was standing in my place, and in the glass, I was the one in the driveway, begging her to remember me. The fog lifted by noon, but the air inside the house stayed thick, humming faintly. I hadn't slept. Every clock now ticked, yet all pointed to the same hour. 2:14. On the kitchen counter, I found an envelope addressed to me in her handwriting. Inside, no words, only a fragment of mirror wrapped in tissue. My own face stared back, but behind my reflection was a second one, softer, almost pleading. Mara. She wasn't haunting me. She was asking to be remembered right. I combed through her journal again. The earlier pages were ordinary. Shopping lists, reminders, notes about watering plants. Then, the handwriting changed, jagged, urgent. "He doesn't know he's me." I stared at it for minutes, my stomach hollowing. Was she writing about me, or for me? A sound upstairs. A mirror falling. Then silence. When I climbed the steps, every reflection showed a different room, but all of them led back here. In the attic, dust floated like snow. Boxes of old photographs, people I didn't recognize, each one featuring this same house. I found her name written again and again on the back of every picture, but one photo stopped me cold. A man who looked exactly like me, standing beside her. Same eyes, same scar on the hand. The caption, Ethan and Mara Cole, 2002. My throat closed. The attic mirror quivered, showing us side by side, smiling like we'd never left. The realization came slowly, like remembering a dream while still half asleep. Mara hadn't been my house sitter. She had been me, or part of me, the part that wanted to forget. The night she disappeared, I must have shattered the mirror first, breaking the memories apart. Each reflection had been trying to return what I refused to see. And now, standing before the last unbroken pane, I saw both of us perfectly aligned, breathing in time. I whispered her name once more, and this time the echo didn't come back. It settled inside me, quiet and final. The house stilled. The fog outside began to thin, revealing a road I hadn't seen in days. For a moment, the reflection and I shared the same heartbeat. Then she smiled, peaceful, almost thankful, and stepped backward into the glass, fading until only my own weary face remained. The mirror cracked, just once, like an exhale. Morning arrived clear for the first time in weeks. Sunlight touched the mirror's cracked frame, glinting like a wound that refused to close. I packed my things, ready to leave. Yet every time I turned from the mirror, I felt its pull, a faint vibration in my chest, like another heartbeat trying to match mine. I whispered, "It's over." But even the walls seemed to hold their breath, listening. Outside, the fog had burned away, but the air still shimmered, as if light itself was waiting to change its mind. I carried the mirror to the backyard, intending to bury it. But when I lifted it, it was lighter than air, hollow, humming. My reflection shimmered, replaced for a moment by the image of the house itself, breathing in rhythm with me. I pressed the glass to the earth, but the soil resisted, rippling like water. "Please," I muttered, unsure to whom I spoke. The ground swallowed half the frame, then stilled, as if satisfied. By afternoon, I was on the road again. The house shrank in the rearview mirror, edges blurring with distance. For the first few miles, silence, then a flicker. The mirror on the passenger seat caught the sunlight, throwing a white flash across my eyes. For an instant, I saw her face there, faint and calm, as if riding with me. I didn't look away. "You're free now," I said softly. The reflection mouthed the same words, but not to me. Night fell fast on the highway. I stopped at a rest area, stretched, breathed. The world felt still again. I looked at the mirror shard one last time, only my face this time. I left it on the hood of the car and turned away. But as I walked toward the restroom lights, a small sound behind me made me stop. Glass shifting against metal. I turned. The shard was gone. Back in the driver's seat, I checked the mirror. Only my reflection, tired, older somehow. Then, in the distance, headlights appeared behind me. One pair. Then two. Then none. My phone buzzed once on the seat. A single notification lit the screen. "Forget me." My breath caught. The road ahead stretched endless and gray, and in the rearview mirror I swore the fog began to form again. The road never ended. Every sign I passed pointed somewhere I'd already been. After hours, I realized the horizon hadn't moved at all. The world felt paused, the sky bruised and endless. I pulled over by a field and killed the engine. In the stillness, I could almost hear her hum, the same quiet tune she used to fill the silence of the house. It echoed faintly from the fog, creeping back across the asphalt. I whispered, "Mara, where are you?" The fog whispered back, "Here." I left the car and walked into the fog, each step muffled, soundless. My phone's flashlight flickered with every breath. Shapes moved just beyond the beam. Outlines of rooms, walls, the furniture from home, suspended in the haze as if the house had followed me. I reached out to touch the outline of the mirror, and light bent around my hand. The air felt like glass. The mirror waited for me in the center of the field, whole again. I approached carefully, the ground shimmering underfoot. My reflection looked calm, older, but the eyes weren't mine anymore. Mara stood behind me in the glass, her hand resting lightly on my shoulder. "You remember now," she said. "We built this." And I saw it. The house, the mirrors, the fog. All of it born from the need to keep her close. Memory had turned to shelter, then to trap. Gordy, as you trapped your euro, an assassin could trap. Wind swept through the grass, carrying her voice. "Let it go." I hesitated, fingers grazing the glass. The reflection smiled one last time. Cracks spread across the surface like veins of light, but no sound came. Only the hum, steady and low, fading into nothing. When I opened my eyes, the mirror was gone. The fog, too. Just open field and quiet morning. The world still and simple again. Back on the road, the sky turned clear blue. I didn't look in the mirrors anymore. The hum was gone. I passed mile markers I couldn't remember seeing before. For the first time, I felt the world move forward. Still, sometimes when sunlight hits the glass just right, I catch a glimpse of her face. Not behind me, but beside me, smiling as if to say she was never lost at all. Months passed. I moved into a small apartment overlooking the city. The noise of life, traffic, laughter, music from open windows, felt almost foreign after all that silence. Still, some nights, when the world quieted, I'd catch the faint echo of that low hum. It wasn't menacing anymore. It sounded like breathing, like peace. Yet sometimes in the reflection of a dark window, I'd glimpse another room superimposed over mine. The old house, the fog, a light left on. I kept one thing from the house, a small photograph of us I found in the attic. The edges had curled, the image fading. When I looked closely, I noticed tiny cracks spreading through it, like veins of glass. I smiled. Even memory ages. Maybe that's its kindness. I set it by the window so the light could touch it every morning. Rain came one evening, soft against the glass. I watched the water trace paths down the pane, bending the lights of the city into rivers of color. In their shimmer for a moment, I saw her reflection again, clearer than before, eyes bright, alive. She nodded once, as if satisfied. Then the water carried her away, dissolving her image into motion. I exhaled, not in fear, but release. Later, as I drifted towards sleep, I dreamt of standing at the edge of a fog-covered lake. The water mirrored the sky perfectly. No ripples, no horizon. I saw her walking across it, barefoot, each step, leaving no trace. She turned once, smiled and whispered without sound, "Remember me right." Then she vanished into light, and the mirror of the lake folded inward, erasing the fog. I woke before sunrise. The world outside the window was pale and quiet. For the first time, I didn't reach for the mirror or the phone or the past. I simply watched the light return. Slow, patient, golden. Somewhere deep inside, her voice lingered, not as a haunting, but as a reminder. Forgetting isn't losing, it's forgiving. I smiled, closed my eyes, and let the day begin.